Not your family. You know who it is, EKJ 24,000 here on this TTR Team Tip Tuesday. Just wanted to give y'all a little tip, man, on your ride height. In my last bashing video, my buggy was flipping over a lot. True enough, it was some potholes in the grass that you really couldn't see on camera. But in the time you out bashing or you finna get ready to bash, just remember to just walk the area that you finna bash on, so you can see the obstacles, that you about to run on, and see what you need to do to your car to be able to handle it. So it's just a quick little tip, man. The thing I did, since I knew the grass wasn't high, grass was low, but I knew I had little holes in the ground, and also I knew I was running on grass itself, and I know I was running these crime fighters with these tall pins, either like crime fighters like these or either those Badlands. After you walk the terrain and see what you running on, go back and set your ride height. All that's going to do is just give you a better ground clearance. Like I say, mine was flipping over a lot, so what I did is, to eliminate that, is lower my ride height. I just turn, if you have threaded shocks on your vehicle, reduce these, turn them less. That's gonna let you let the car sit down a little lower, which is gonna give you a little bit more stability, and it'll let you keep your car from flipping over in high bite terrain. With the grass being low, and with these tires with the pins on them, or like Badlands, that's gonna produce a lot of grip. So your car will be your car or truck, monster truck, truggy, it'll tend to flip over. Even if you're racing out there on the track and the track is high grip. And just check go over your ride height. Like I said, how to reduce your ride height is turning them up. Turning them up. Basically what this is doing is making the shock, when I turn it up, when I'm turning it to making it go up on the shock, on the shock body. If you have threaded shock bodies, turn it up. Once you turn it up, lessen the space, it makes your car sit down lower. That will reduce the chance of your car rolling over on high grip surfaces like grass, especially if you're running pin tires or Badland tires when you're bashing, or either when you out there racing. Just you can lower your ride height, which will keep your car from flipping over so much. But if you don't have threaded body shocks, I know some of the RTR cars, they don't have threaded shocks. Another thing you can do is they may have spacers in between the shock and the shock collet. Just remove one of those spaces out, and they'll let your car sit down lower. If you remove one of those spacers, usually they be in between the spring. Hold on. Usually they sit right here in between the spring and the top of the shock. So just pull one of those spaces out, and they'll make a car or truck sit down lower. So another thing you can do to lower your ride height is to, like my shocks is already in the far out hole. You can put your shocks in the far outward hole on your A arm. You do that on the front and the back, and they will move your shocks out, which would lower your ride height. And if you don't know your ride height, a good thing to always keep in mind, if you don't know your ride height, where to start off with, just make sure your ride height is where the 8 arms are straight, flat, horizontal, all the way across. Are parallel, you know, to the ground, horizontal to the ground. Like the floor, my table's right here. You just want your 8 arms to be straight all the way across. That's a good ride height to start from. Then if you get it like that, then you just adjust this, your shock collar, up or down to your desired, to the best ride height. So your truck won't flip over, and so you can, you know, enjoy your bash without having your car flipping over or truck flipping over. Like I said, if you're running on that grass with these pin tires, it's gonna produce a lot of grip, and that's gonna produce a lot of force, a lot of traction, and they'll have your, you know, your car traction roller when you get ready to turn at high speed. So just a little tip to keep in mind when you out there bashing, or either if you out there racing. This really especially pertain to the bash, to the bashers. Like I said, when I was out there bashing, like I said, a buggy at times was flipping over a lot. Then I had to go back to it and adjust my ride height. And another way to adjust your ride height, if you have these shock collars, you can adjust. Just get your micrometer and just measure the length. Just measure the length in between the top of the shock, this part of the shock, the top part of the shock, and the shock collar. Just measure that and make sure it's even on all 4 shocks. Even, the same length on all 4 shocks, front and back. Front and back. Front and back. Front and back. Do it the same way. If you don't have a micrometer, you can get a ruler and just measure it. Just make sure this space is even on all 4 shocks. Make sure the space is even on all 4 shocks, and that'll give you a even ride height, and that'll keep your car or your truck, keep it from flipping over. And like I said, this is EKJ 24000 with a quick little helpful TTR Team Tip Tuesday. Again, if you don't know your ride height, if you don't have a setup sheet that tells you a certain ride height for your car to be at, the one thing you can do is just make sure your rear 8 arms are straight across, evenly across, horizontal across. Make sure it's even, just like that, to the ground. Make sure they're even. That's a good starting point. And then just adjust, run it, see if it traction rolls, come back, then adjust your shock collars, twist it, adjust it from there. You're good, up or down, whatever you need. And make sure your shock, if you do adjust it, make sure they're even. Measure with a ruler or either with these calipers all the way around. I know I just adjusted this one so it's not even. See how this one's closer to the top and that one's farther down? Make sure it's even. So I gotta go back and put this one, you know, where this one is. So, but yeah, it's EKJ 24000 on this quick little TTR Team Tip Tuesday. That's important. It's a good thing to know. Like I said, you can lower it by adjusting your shock collars. You can lower it by moving your shocks farther to the outward on the arm. That would lower it down too. If you don't have adjustable shock bodies with the threaded shock bodies with the collar on it, sometimes we have spacers, especially on RTR cars. Just remove one of the spacers. You do it like that. And on the front, also, on the front, you can move your shocks to the outer holes, and they'll lower it down. So But the main thing is to start off with your arms horizontal straight, front and rear. Make sure it's straight on front and rear. After you get them straight like that, then go run and make sure if it rolls or not. If it rolls, then come back and adjust your collars. If you don't have these adjustable collars, pull out the spaces that may be in there. Pull the spacer out and go from there. And then go back. If you have some calipers, measure the space in between the collar and the top of the shock. Measure that. Make sure it's even. If you don't have some calipers, just use a ruler and just make sure it's even, both sides. If you do that, they'll get you a good ride height, and you won't have to worry about your car flipping over as much. It still may flip over just because it's bumpy. Then again, before you run, before you go bash, walk the track. Before you bash, go walk the field or terrain that you're bashing in to see if any holes or dips or whatever's out there, so you won't, damage your rides. So this Core joint with TTR Team Tip Tuesday. Y'all be safe. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Actions always speak louder than your words. Let them haters be your motivators. And left top salute. I'm out.